All right, so this is the top plate to the fuel tank on the Humvee, and I got this gas fuel pump off of eBay, or not eBay, but Amazon. It's got a sending unit and everything, and I think that black thing is the overpressure pressure monitor. So I think that thing will work, and its footprint is something like this. And so originally I was thinking I'd cut this stuff out, place that, but there's no convenient overlap. There's going to be some oblong shapes here. So now what I'm thinking is I'll take all this out, JB weld a plate to the bottom of that, and probably fasten it mechanically as well, just in case that were ever to fail. Don't want that dropping in the tank. And then probably leave this guy because that's a good seal, and figure out what that is. It's a vent, but it's either a vent or a backflow. I'll figure that out and how that corresponds with the new pump, and then probably just stick this over here in this plate, rather than, I guess the other option would be to go get another aluminum plate, but this way I can just use what I got. So that is the plan so far. All right, so here's what I ended up doing for the gas fuel pump for the Humvee. I used the original plate and then just cut off with a grinder. There's a stick coming down here that's metal, which holds the float for the sending unit, which gauges the level of fuel. And then I was going to make a new plate, but instead just decided to plug this one up and just JB welded some aluminum, actually from the seat bases of this truck, that I was able to cut in strips and then grind off the paint, just make sure I get good adhesion, and then clamp those for a while and plug up all those holes. And then this, I don't think will leak at all without something pressing from the other side. So I'll just sit there basically inert. And I need to cut a hole in the center of the plate. So I used the gasket for the pump to kind of gauge and trace that, and got it pretty close, but I'll probably put some RTV or some sealant on that. And then this will just drop in. This is a separate part here, this ring, but the pump will drop in like that. It hits just about perfectly on the bottom of the tank. I think it'll compress about 3/4 of an inch or so, not much. And then I'll use this just to get some kind of mechanical compression, seal that gasket pretty good, which may alleviate the need to use RTV. And then just gotta make sure, I know this one looks like fuel out because it comes from this tube here. So fuel out, I think that's the drain line that comes back in, and this looks like it's a vent. So this I'll connect to the rubber tube that was down there, connected to the original vent, and then plug everything in. Hopefully that plugs into the engine computer, and we'll see if it works from there. But most likely that's gonna be another huge sidebar trying to get it all to work. But at least so far, I can take this and put a couple new holes in the top of the fuel tank, stick the tank back in, which will be one less pile of junk sitting around in this huge pile of junk. All right, so I've got the fuel pump, the hole cut, the holes drilled in the tank so that it will accept the plate backwards. Got these bonded so all the holes are sealed up, and then I'll use these holes to basically put a bolt in, compress the pump down using the plate on top of that to create the seal. But the real tricky part has been getting the baffle box in the right place, and kind of did me a favor that it was loose and just rolling around in there. But it's pretty critical, the angle of this fuel pump, so that the sender arm can move freely and also has enough room horizontally to work. So this way it comes all the way up, but as you can see, it's pretty critical, the clocking position, because if it's just a little too far over, like right now it's bound on the box, where if you turn it just a little bit, it moves freely. So I think what I'm gonna do, I've got the pump where it needs to be, and fortunately I can reach in there and mark. So I think I'm gonna mark the box in position and then bond it in place, and then it won't move, and then I can step the pump in the right place. So that is the plan. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, so here's the plate, and this is once I got it mounted on the box. I used RTV to seal the plate to the box, and then RTV again on the bolts that I fastened upright in the plate so that I could fasten a compression plate and hold the pump down. Alright, this is the pump installed. I've got actually only 3 of the nuts holding it in place because one of the bolts was blocked by the exit lines, but there's plenty of compression, the pump doesn't move. I've got it clocked in the right position according to my marks. And I went to O'Reilly's and got a fuel line. Recommend maybe doing that online. It was fairly expensive, about $150 for 15 feet to make it work. This pump didn't have a plug for the pressure sensor, which is the black part, so I'll have to figure that out, but it's ready to go in.